I've had some conversations with realtors and realtor associations, and one of the things that I'll continue to say is I get it. Cash is king, and you can do that. But if your homeowner can wait 30 to 45 days, they'll get their asking price, and then we'll still be able to afford individuals that have born and raised in this area or that reside in this area. It'll give them an opportunity to purchase a home. And so the question now is really, realtors and their influence with their sellers to say, hey, you're going to get your asking price. Can you wait to 30 days, 45 days, whatever the time frame is on that sales contract? And, if that resonates with sellers, especially sellers who are from this area or understand community and understand, what you're trying to build in your community. If that resonates with a seller, then a seller would wait those 30, 45 days if they can. If not, we're going to continue to see the challenge of individuals who are working here not being able to afford to own here.
I am Amelia the Realtor, and welcome to Happily Ever Sold. This is where we talk all things real estate. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Happily Ever Sold. Now, this is the place where we talk about all things real estate, buying, selling, renting, investing. We combine all of it in one, the business and the practical side, and we just have one conversation. And today we are going to talk about some of the opportunities that Palm Beach County has. We want to talk about affordable housing. We want to talk about economic sustainability. We want to talk about what are some of the programs that are here locally for the residents of Palm Beach County. And like I always say, I am bringing the experts to you. So sitting with me today is Jonathan Brown. He is the director of the Palm Beach County Housing and Economic Development Department.
You are the right.
Awesome. And I am so glad to have him here in the place. Now, he is our expert on everything Palm Beach County housing related. Listen, that is my story and I'm sticking to it. And he's going to provide us with some great information today. Welcome, Mr. Brown. I'm so glad that you are here on the couch with us today.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Awesome. So we are just going to jump right on in because as I was doing research for the show today, I was just blown away by all the different initiatives and opportunities and resources that Palm Beach County has available to all of the residents right here. And I don't even think that a lot of people, well, some may be aware, but I'm sure that there is a great percentage of the population that is not aware. So if you don't mind, can you just kind of tell me a little bit just how you got in this industry, how long you've been with the department, and just some of your role?
Absolutely. So I am, as you said, Jonathan Brown, Department of Housing, Economic Development for Palm Beach County. I have been working in this arena for probably close to 20 years, starting with banking, and I initially began with Palm Beach County, actually working in their economic development office.
Great.
After leaving banking, working in economic development, spent some time there. While in the economic development office, there was a need that came up on the housing side. Housing has always been a passion, as well as the economic development. So I moved over to the county's housing department, spent a few years there. After that, a great opportunity arose to lead the city of Fort Lauderdale's housing department, as well as to lead their CISTRUNC, their CRA, Northwest Progresso Flagler Heights, the African-American, the Black CRA in the Black community in the city of Fort Lauderdale. So spent a number of years in Fort Lauderdale, 8 years in Fort Lauderdale, working with their CRA, working with their housing department, and a great opportunity came up for me to work with the county. What was interesting is during the time I was in Fort Lauderdale, the two passions I had here in the county, economic development and housing, combined into one department.
Mm.
And so opportunity came about where I was able to apply for the position and was successful in getting the position and been back to the county now for about 4 years. This year will be 4 years back for the county.
Wow, that is awesome. So, is it safe to say that, along with your passion for housing, you're kind of a numbers guy too?
I love numbers, numbers and compliance.
Okay.
One of the things that I prided myself on in the city of Fort Lauderdale, and the same here. Before leaving Fort Lauderdale, my team and I had expended $100 million without any audit findings that required us to repay money.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
so coming back to Palm Beach County with that same level or passion in terms of compliance, looking at the numbers and making sure it makes sense.
Oh, that's great. I love what you said about having a passion for housing. Because as we spoke even just a few moments ago, like when you are doing something that you love and you're passionate about it, you're going to do it in excellence. You're going to give
Yes.
your all to it. What would you say, on a personal note, fueled your passion for housing?
Oh, that's a great question. So you know, I, in addition to working in local government, I serve as a local pastor as well. And I've always seen myself as someone who provides housing, and on the spiritual side, it is taking a look at the house that God's going to live in and make that house better. That
That's
house is
good.
us as people,
That's good.
and so it translates exactly to what I do on the natural side, which is working in housing and creating those opportunities. So my passion is making sure that those individuals who want a house will have an opportunity to have a house, but also to make sure that the house that we can give God a chance to reside in is up to par as well.
I love that. It sounds like that you are definitely walking out the scripture that says that our gifts will make room for us.
Absolutely,
That
absolutely. And again, like I say, it's definitely a passion. What a lot of people don't know about our department is that not only are we responsible for the housing programs, and with the county, I guess I need to qualify that there are programs that we administer that comes from the state SHIP program that a lot of people are familiar with, and then there are some federal programs that come from HUD that a lot of people are familiar with that we oversee. A lot of times I'll get calls regarding, well, do you deal with housing vouchers? No, that's our housing authority. And that's either the Palm Beach County Housing Authority, no affiliation with our Board of County Commissioners.
okay.
And then the cities have housing authorities. One of the other things that we do within the county through our community services department is that we serve those who are homeless or at risk of homelessness. And so housing is a huge issue throughout the county, and it's really spread out amongst the departments who specialize in certain aspects of it.
I did see that when I was doing some research, as you're speaking of about the homelessness, because you also fund resources for those that are transitioning from homelessness into rental units to help with that process. Is that correct?
That's correct. Our community services department does a great job with that. And my department, kind of our role in that is that we are often funders not only for agencies who are providing housing, but we are funders for municipalities. We also fund other county departments in terms of different projects that they're looking to do, whether it's housing related, whether it's community development related. And by community development, you're driving by and you see a park being redone.
Mhm.
A lot of those parks are assisted through county dollars. Here in near the wonderful city of Riviera Beach, we provided some dollars to help them develop their urban farm that's
Oh,
off of Blue
yes.
Heron. So a number of things that we get engaged with on the housing side, municipalities, some of them that are doing street projects, and a lot of those projects, dollars that come through my department, my team, and in the other areas on the economic development side.
And I love that. And it really makes a lot of sense because even as a homeowner, and even not just a homeowner, a renter, where you live matters. It it makes you feel good. So when you are in a place, the community looks good, it's built
Yes.
up, people are getting involved, there's parks, there's nice sidewalks. You really take pride in where you are.
Yes, yes, yes. And I often, I'll tell people, I remember the company BASF. And one of the mottos or one of the things they used to say is that we don't make the products you buy, we make them better. And
Ah,
so, from a county's perspective, you may not see our names on projects. We may not be the ones developing the projects, but we are the ones that are providing the funding, providing the expertise to make those projects better and to make those projects work for the communities throughout the county.
oh wow, wow, that's awesome, and it's a large feat, I bet.
Yes, yes, it is.
So,
It is. It
so
is.
it's not a whole lot of downtime going on in the department. There's
It's
something moving and shaking at all times.
there's always something going, and that's just the housing side and the community development side. The other side that we are active in is the economic development
Hmm.
side. We have a number of economic development partners, ranging from the Business Development Board to organizations like the TED Center. We work with FAU and other organizations, and even with some of the large companies that you see that are relocating to the county,
Yes.
we're typically always engaged in those applications after our partner, the Business Development Board, has reviewed those businesses and see that there are some potential for those businesses to come here. We're the ones who will vet through those applications and make a recommendation, do the different feasibility studies to see if those projects actually meet the criteria that the county is looking for.
Wow.
That's on the large business side. And
Wow.
then we also administer some small business programs and grants. I'm a firm believer that you can't have housing without economic development, and you
Correct.
can't have economic development without housing. So you need businesses that are paying livable wages as
Mhm.
well as housing that can be afforded.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And it's very true. See, you guys, I told you I bring the experts to you. And as you already know, that Mr. Brown is an expert and he's passionate about what he does. You mentioned about the SHIP program a moment ago. So I would like to talk about that because as you know that I am a realtor, so I am very passionate about helping people to realize their dream and manifesting their dream of home ownership. It is definitely a very important part and makes you feel good. It again, it enhances you inside and out. It sets the tone and starts building that generational wealth and leaving legacy for your family. And so one of the things I do want to talk about are some of the homebuyer programs that comes out of your department. I know we have SHIP, and there's probably some others as well. Can you just kind of give us some information about that?
Absolutely. So we typically on the home buyer side, SHIP program, very familiar program. That is a state funded program for you all that can help us. One of the things that we typically continue to advocate for is full funding for our state housing program. As many of you all may be aware, back in the 90s, the state legislature established a housing trust fund, the Sadowski Fund, through the Sadowski Act, which really set aside a portion of the dock stamps
Okay.
toward affordable housing. Over the past decade or so, the legislature has developed other priorities. So we're not getting as much money in. I would say over the past decade, we've probably as a county had somewhere near $100 million swept and taken away from us that could have went toward affordable housing. And so why is that important? It's important because now we're dealing with the housing crisis where you're seeing, the median price for a single family home now is, about 500,000, 510,000 was the last number I saw, where you're seeing rental rates that are increasing 30 to 40%, and in
Yes.
some cases 50% and more.
Mhm.
The reason why those SHIP funds are so important is because it allows us the opportunity to work with landlords who own rental
Mhm.
properties to make sure that they can still work in this capitalistic society and do what they want to do, but we give them dollars to help buy down the cost of a
Mm.
lot of the units that they own, or working with developers that are building single family homes and townhomes
Yes.
and condos and buying down the cost to make those homes affordable. And so now what we're seeing is the results of that $100 million being swept over the past decade. And it's not just here in Palm Beach County, it's a South Florida issue.
Yes.
And it's gotten to the place where we have increased the amount of down payment assistance we provide.
Right.
For a number of years, the county was at about $40,000 in down payment assistance that we provide, and then I remember when it shifted to about $75,000, we've had to increase our down payment assistance up to $100,000
Wow.
just to help people afford housing here in the county.
Right.
And we do that through a number of different programs, whether it is our federal funded home program or our state funded SHIP program. One of the newer programs, and I'm saying newer, it's been around since about 2006, but it really became active in about 2017, is our workforce housing program.
Yes. Yes.
It is, if you've ever heard anybody talk about inclusionary zoning, it is an inclusionary zoning program that the county has made mandatory. And so what is inclusionary zoning for you all that don't know? So inclusionary zoning basically says if you are going to build market rate units, then you are also required to build housing units that are affordable for the workforce.
And who's the workforce, Mr. Brown?
And the workforce are you and I. It's our teachers. It is our essential workers in whatever industries you determine. Palm Beach County tourism is big, and so it's our residents that are working in our hotels, working in our restaurants, and so it is an expansive workforce here in the county.
Yes.
And that is a program, that inclusionary zoning, we call it workforce housing, is a very, very, very good program. The thing I love about that program is that if you are building as a market rate developer, whether you're building rental, whether you're building for sale units, if you are building those units or those homes, market rate homes in certain areas of the county, you are required, as I said, to build housing that's affordable for the workforce. And so developers are having to do that. The great thing about that is that when they build those units, we as a county can say, this is the max rent you can charge in these categories, or this is the max sales price that you can have.
Okay.
And so while we're talking about the market rate or the median price of a single family home being $510,000, in our workforce housing program at the lower tier, the max sales price a developer can sell a home for is $168,000.
Wow.
At the highest tier, it's $312,000. And so there are sales prices that are below market rates. And so some may say, well, are those properties inferior to market rate homes? Not necessarily. I mean, it may not have, the stone veneer out front. It may not have the Roman tub in the house. But in terms of quality, we require that these units be developed in a way that is similar to the market rate units that they're developing. And so you won't necessarily see that from the outside of the home. What a lot of developers have opted to do are build townhomes, and we're fine with that. If you want to build townhomes, we definitely would love single family homes as well, but we're seeing a lot of townhomes. But the ability to dictate what those maximum sales prices are for the workforce is critical. Now, those that live here, those that work here in this county can actually afford to live here.
Are there any incentives for the developer, like through your department, Palm Beach County, to build those units, those kind of units, and not to say, oh, I don't want to be a part of that. I want to go ahead and I want to build a Cadillac of homes. I want to stay in this sector.
So yes to that question. And the incentives may not be what you typically see. And so I'll talk about two different types of incentives with our SHIP programs or our HUD funded programs. We typically are a bank. And so we will provide dollars that will help buy down the cost of those units being developed, whether they're rental or home ownership. And what we do is we require the developers to set aside a certain number of units that will be determined affordable. Okay. So we have that. On the workforce housing program, part of the reason or one of the things that the county does is that by mandating that developers build these workforce housing units, and there are a few ways that they can do that, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. Okay. But as part of mandating that they do that, what the county will provide them is density bonus.
Oh, okay, great.
And what the density does is it allows them to build more market rate units and now they can build a little bit more workforce housing. So that way they're not losing out by building the workforce housing
Okay.
units. They're making their money up on the market rate side.
Right. So it's a better balance.
It's a better balance, and again, it creates what we're looking for as affordable housing. Now, one of the things that the county is considering now is the workforce housing program, because developers have an option to either build the units or they can pay what we call an in lieu fee and kind of buy their way out of building the units. Developers have an opportunity. Those that want to build, they can either build those units on site or they can build them off site. The county has provided the flexibility to where if they don't want to build them themselves, they can partner with a nonprofit or for-profit agency that builds affordable workforce housing.
Okay.
And they can give them the money as opposed to the county so they can have those houses built.
Now, there may be some people that saying, this sounds really good. Affordable housing units, this sounds great. Workforce housing, this sounds great. But they may be thinking, well, maybe these homes are in places that, maybe I don't want to live. Maybe it's not on the best sides of town. Maybe it's on the less developed side. And I don't know if I want that. Is that where I'm going to live to have affordable housing? Is that myth or truth, or, where are these homes, Pastor Brown?
Great question. So the developers are the ones who are going to dictate the location of the homes. And so we have some single family homes being built now and townhomes being built in Mary's Place, Pleasant City, West Palm. Everything else that's being built is basically out west. So we have a developer, I'm not going to call out names of the developers, but we have developers that have built some west of Military Trail in Hypaluxo, west of Military Trail in Lantana. We have some that have built some west of Military Trail off of Flavor Pick in Boynton Beach. Okay. And so most of the homes that are being built are built out west. We now have some developments that are being built now that are west of the Turnpike on Lake Worth Road, and we have some that are on Lyons Road, Lyons and Lake Worth Road. So a lot of the homes are built out west. Here is the thing. For the sake of building more affordable housing units, most of what you're seeing built are townhomes.
Okay.
In some instances, you are seeing also condos that are being built. In the West Palm Beach, in partnership with that developer and the West Palm Beach Housing Authority, they're able to build townhomes, but they're also able to build single family homes. So it really is, as a individual looking to purchase, you'll have an opportunity of whether or not you want to be in town or if you want to move a little bit out west. And ultimately, as developers come in and they're building their market rate units and they're required to build the workforce housing units, they will make the determination on where they want to build those housing units at.
And two, as a potential home buyer, a lot of times you think about single family home first, but also look at time. Like, what do your maintenance? Because single family home, it's a little bit more maintenance. You might have to keep up with the yard. Maybe you're not a yard person. So there's a lot of other factors. Also, maybe going out west is a good opportunity because some of that space is still being developed.
Yes.
So you can get in maybe on a little less cost and then see your property value grow as more things start coming, as more people start moving. So you almost kind of got in on the lower end, but as time goes and more development happens, you're seeing a great increase in your equity.
Absolutely. And to finish even on that is that, as you make a decision on what sort of home you want to buy, a lot of people were able to begin with purchasing their first home was a single family home. In Palm Beach County, we have over 1.5 million residents now. So this county has grown.
It's growing.
And so you're starting to see the townhomes being built, for home ownership because it allows the developer to create more housing units for individuals as well as the apartments. And so you're starting to see a different variety of homes being built, and the variety of homes are good. And the thing to take in consideration if you're considering buying a home, it's not necessarily going to be your last home. It may be your first home. And so you have to take that into consideration as you look at the opportunities to build. The other thing about workforce housing that a lot of people love is that you will be the first one to live in there because these homes are all new construction.
And that is great. That's a plus. And and just like you spoke about home costs, I mean, new construction homes, you are paying a pretty penny right now to get in a new construction home. So just like Mr. Brown said, you may not have like the granite and the marble throughout the home, but you know what? It's new. You're the first one, and you can customize it.
Yes.
You can take your time and you can bring in those touches.
Yes.
As you get in, you get settled, and as you continue to grow and make memories in your home.
Absolutely.
Now, you mentioned something about as we're talking about the housing programs, like your home buyer programs. Now, I heard you say about the funds that are not as much as before, like from the doc stamps and that money. So, what I'm thinking is, when these items are made available, because there is an application process, right, to
Yes.
apply and requirements.
Yes.
Is it on a first come, first serve?
When the application process open, it's typically first come, first serve. State and federal requirements for their funding sources require that. As you can imagine, because we are the county, when we do have those dollars available, they go pretty fast. And so that, we're always faced with that challenge. The good thing is that as the county, we're not the only municipality in Palm Beach County receiving state and federal funds. There are, cities such as Boynton and Boca and Delray and West Palm and Jupiter and Gardens and Wellington. There are a number of other cities that are receiving state and or federal funds that may also offer home buyer and homeowner assistance programs. And I would encourage you, if you're looking at moving in one of those cities or any city within the county, contact that city, see what programs they have to offer. And if they don't have what you're looking for, then contact us at the county.
That sounds great. So the resources is out there. So you have to do the work.
Yes.
You have to go out. You have to look for it. I know for me, as I was even preparing for our show today, just going on the website, there's a plethora of information there that I found. And it's a lot. And so are there people in your office that can answer questions?
Absolutely. We're constantly answering questions. We're constantly taking part in events and panels to where we can share and talk about what it is we do. One of the things that we have to work on in my department and do better at is really telling our story. Oftentimes we are so much in the throes of what we do that we don't have opportunities to get out and share much about it. Now you're starting to see us get out a little bit more as the invitation came for this. We're starting to get out a little bit more, and people are starting to understand. It's like, oh, wow, you're doing all of that? Is the county offering all of those services? County is offering a whole lot of services, a whole lot of opportunities, and you're not going to find any greater advocate to affordable workforce housing than the county.
And I also saw, of course, we talked to our future home buyers, but you have a lot of programs, a few programs for even current homeowners. I saw things on your website such as mortgage assistance, those that may be facing foreclosures. I also saw things such as rehab assistance for rehabilitating properties. Can you kind of expand on some of those?
Absolutely. So we definitely are absolutely doing all of that. Part of what we're doing not only is the creation of housing or adding new housing, it is the preservation of housing. And we do that through our foreclosure prevention and our mortgage assistance. We were really, really busy, as a lot of organizations may have been when the pandemic started, because we were faced with a lot of individuals who either weren't working, companies kind of shut down for a while as we were trying to understand the pandemic. And so our county commission was forward thinking in that we set aside a lot of dollars to deal with foreclosure prevention and mortgage assistance to help individuals save their homes. And so we did a lot of that. What people may not know is before COVID, the county has always offered a foreclosure prevention program.
Wow.
And so when whether your mortgage issue was related to COVID or not, we had a solution, we had a program, and we have programs still for doing that. In addition to our mortgage assistance and foreclosure prevention program, we do an emergency repair program. The emergency repair is really for owner-occupied homes, so you have to own the home in order for us to do it. But for many people, there are just certain issues that they may be having that we need to address. Maybe it's just your roof, maybe it's just your plumbing, maybe it's just your electric, and so we will go in and do some spot repairs with regards to that. And then we have a substantial rehabilitation program where we'll go in and address all of your code, life, health, safety issues. One of the things that our county administrator is very big on that we incorporated, I want to say about 3.5 years ago, is when we address code, life, health, safety issues, we also look at hurricane mitigation.
Oh, that's great.
And so if we're going in to rehab your home and there are dollars that are left, when we leave your home, you're going to have impact windows, you're going to have impact doors, added to your home, garage doors, front doors, back doors, windows. So that way in hurricane season, we're in Florida, when in hurricane season, you're not at the big box stores trying to find plywood and all those things necessary to secure your home.
Wow.
So we're doing that. The other thing that I love about our rehab program is that when we finish rehabbing your home, we also take a look at your roof, whether you need a roof or not. We take a look at your roof and we perform a 4-point inspection and a wind mitigation, because after we leave your home, we want to arm you with enough data and information that you can send to your insurance company to get your insurance rates lowered.
And that is a discount, homeowners.
Absolutely.
And we love discounts. We love saving money. Listen, any way to save money, you want to do that. And even from our future homeowners, you'll see. Just
Absolutely.
wait.
Absolutely.
Just stay on the path. You're going to see. So I'm sure that are there certain requirements for that rehab program or age of home? Does it have to be a certain age of the home to be able to qualify for that?
Great question. Great question. So not necessarily related to the age of the home, but we take a look at the individual household and the total household income. And the household has to meet whatever the requirements are of the state or federal funding sources. And so, we'll take a look at the number of people in your homes, the maximum income that your home can make as an individual. And to give you an example, for a household of 4, if your household makes about $68,500 or less, you're eligible. And it changes based if you have 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, it changes. But that's kind of a standard that we'll throw out there. Then you could qualify for our assistance to do a rehabilitation. Now, interestingly enough, what a lot of people may not know is that you come to us for emergency repair. We do our inspections, and let's say upon our inspection, you need more than an emergency repair. Then we'll look at the substantial rehab.
Okay.
But what happens to you when you come to us for a substantial rehab and really your home is beyond repair? Over the past few years, the county has allowed us to do a replacement housing program.
Really?
Where we would actually demolish your home and rebuild you a new home on that site. We don't get a chance to do that as much as we would want, simply because we have lost so much dollars through the state sweeping our SHIP funds. And so we do some here and there, but we just completed 2 of those homes, one in the city of South Bay, one in the city of Belglade. We're looking at now homeowners in Riviera Beach, and we're looking at homeowners in Lake Worth. And so we're looking at other opportunities as we're working with homeowners whose homes are beyond repair.
Yes.
You're walking in the homes and you're seeing severe termite damage, or the floor is compromised. At some point, where do those people get help? And that's another program that the county allows us to do.
I think that is so admirable, because it really shows that you care about the investment that people have made. Owning a home, it's a huge investment.
Absolutely.
In a lot of cases, people have invested their life savings, a good amount of the funds that they've worked and saved to purchase a home. And so, it can get to a point sometimes that, things happen, life happens, and you just can't do something.
Absolutely.
And so I love the fact that there is help out there. Again, just go ask, look for the information is there, apply, look at the requirements, get the information in, ask questions. As Mr. Brown said, there's people in his department that can, steer you in the right place to get that information. Applications, a lot of things are just right online.
Yes.
For those that are tech savvy, and you can get the help that you need so that you are living somewhere that you are proud of, that your investment looks good and you're safe.
Yes. Yes.
And I
Yes.
love that. I
Yeah.
love that.
Just one other thought, one other program that's probably a little known fact is that we also provide first mortgages. So in cases or situations where an individual may have struggle with getting a bank loan, or maybe they were pre-approved, and as we got down to closing and somehow the bank drew out or withdrew, we can also do first mortgages. So between first mortgages, silent seconds, helping developers, foreclosure prevention, mortgage assistance, rehab, emergency repair, replacement housing, there are a lot of different options that we as the county we offer. And again, if you are or you know someone in need of those types of programs, talk to us, and we can definitely help you. If you or someone you know is in need of or at the homeless or at risk of homelessness, talk to us. We'll refer you to our community services department, but we are here to help.
It sounds like it. And on your website, I saw the mission of your department that says changing lives and transforming neighborhoods into balanced communities.
Yes, yes.
And it sounds like you guys are definitely doing that every day.
We are, and again, it's the gambit of things. It's the housing, it's the community development, it's the infrastructure projects, it's the economic development. One thing that people may not know, again, cares. And when the COVID crisis was at its worst, and we needed to start assisting businesses to
Yes.
make sure businesses can survive. And initially, the county commission gave my department, I think it was about 50 million to help businesses. When it was all said and done, we spent $77 million helping
Wow.
businesses to stay alive throughout the pandemic.
That's awesome. So making sure that the economic side is there to fuel the housing side.
Because that's the balance. You
That's the
can't have
balance.
housing without having economic development or having businesses. So you need that balance, and within all of that, our young people need places to go. So whether it's parks, whether it's community centers, I mean, there are so many different things that the county allows my department to be engaged in. That really helps to balance out communities and balance out neighborhoods and really give you as an individual what you would want within the area that you live.
That's great. So, Mr. Brown, you're our plug today. So we want a little inside information. We want a little bit of inside information. So what that information is I know that there's usually like a window or almost like a time period where some of these some of the homebuyer assistant program funds come available. Around when should we really start looking to hear that announcement that says, the application is hitting?
Is hitting. So for the state funded programs, typically, the state's fiscal year runs from July to June. So we typically will know around July,
Okay.
June, July, we'll know what we're going to receive from the state. We'll get it to our Board of County Commissioners. So if you contact our office anytime around June, July, mid to late June or July, we'll be able to give you a better idea of when our programs are going to be released on the state-funded housing side. With the HUD-funded housing side, their fiscal year begins October. And so typically around mid-September to October, we'll be able to share with you when our HUD-funded programs are going to be released.
So you heard it here first. So I want all of my happily ever sold peeps to move in, come in closer. So you heard it here first. You heard the dates. So this is what you do now. You look at your credit. You start working on your credit. You start looking at the requirements because that information is there already, that they can look and research what the requirements are. Start getting your paperwork together. You're going to need statements, pay stub records, tax information. Start pulling all of that together. Be ready so you don't have to get ready. You'll already be
Absolutely.
ready because a very wise man told me that your preparation will become your reality. This wise man is Pastor Jonathan Brown, and we are holding on to that. So prepare now. Prepare now for home ownership. Prepare now for those homeowner funds, that down payment assistance, so that when the application is ready and it drops, all you have to do is fill it out and submit.
Absolutely. Get yourself ready. The dollars are going to come, and we want to make sure that each and every one of you have an opportunity to take advantage of those dollars.
Absolutely. We want you to take advantage of those dollars. Pastor Brown, how have you seen just the vision of affordable housing and just the schematics of it all just change just during COVID?
COVID created a unique situation. As I said earlier, we saw, and it's kind of run the gambit. You saw a number of people who were financially impacted because of their job situation, and so we saw the need to have to provide mortgage assistance to make sure that no one loses their home throughout the crisis. We were very fortunate that federal government provided some moratoriums on the home ownership and the rental side that also helped in that situation. One of the things, the challenges that it created is that it opened the door to different ways of working. And so now teleworking, which, in years past was not a big option or was not one of the benefits that companies would offer, is now a benefit. And so what we're seeing now is individuals who are living up north or in other areas now making their way down to South Florida. And if you're coming from one of those northern states and you're able to sell your home and you were able to come down now to South Florida, paradise, you're coming down with cash.
Yes.
And in a market where the supply of affordable workforce housing is low, it's driving up the cost of those homes. And so now you can be living in a place like New York, or you can be living in New York and now you're moving down to Florida. You can live in Florida, telework for New York. You're still making New York wages and you're able to pay cash for homes. That's become a big issue because now individuals are not able to even secure a mortgage to buy a house, because as a realtor, if you're representing a seller and you have a buyer that's willing to pay cash, it's challenging for you to say, no, we'll wait on the one that's going to come with the bank loan.
Right.
Because you have to represent your seller.
And they're paying more than what the home is even worth, is what we're seeing now.
And so that has created a major challenge to affordable housing here in Palm Beach County. The ability to telework, and so you can be in Palm Beach County and you can be teleworking to another state, another country, and you can, afford yourself of the benefits of living in paradise while still making, a pretty decent salary from wherever you were. And so that's had a negative impact on the affordability, because again, when you're coming to this area and you have cash, cash is king, and it's become a problem, like I say, because now it doesn't matter if you have a bank loan. It doesn't matter if the county is going to provide up to $100,000 in assistance. You can close faster with cash.
Absolutely. What would you say, or I don't know if there's even a solution to that, but what would you say to what would a home buyer do, a potential home buyer do to try to combat that? Just wait it out?
I've had some conversations with realtors and realtor associations, and one of the things that I'll continue to say is I get it. Cash is king, and you can do that. But if your homeowner can wait 30 to 45 days, they'll get their asking price, and then we'll still be able to afford individuals that have born and raised in this area or that reside in this area. It'll give them an opportunity to purchase a home. And so the question now is really, realtors and their influence with their sellers to say, hey, you're going to get your asking price. Can you wait to 30 days, 45 days, whatever the time frame is on that sales contract? And, if that resonates with sellers, especially sellers who are from this area or understand community
Mhm.
and understand, what you're trying to build in your community. If that resonates with a seller, then a seller would wait those 30, 45 days if they can. If not, we're going to continue to see the challenge of individuals who are working here not being able to afford to own here.
Mhm.
And it's not just ownership, because again, now you're starting to see rental rates,
Absolutely.
go up
Well
a
over
lot.
$2,000, $3,000 a month, and it is just to get in a rental unit. I mean, it's almost 10 grand in some places between first, last, deposit, application fee, and then of course even now because of almost everywhere is managed by a homeowners association. So you
Yes.
have those very stringent application
Yes.
processes, credit checks, background checks. So yeah.
It's a challenge, but here is again our responsibility. And I mean us as residents and those that are community minded. Get yourself ready. Whether you're ready to purchase a home or you're ready to rent, get your credit right.
Mhm.
Make sure you are examining your finances. You're looking at your budget. You're living on that budget, because I was listening the other day to someone, and they were just sharing a story of one of their friends. And even on the rental, this particular person wanting to get where they wanted to live, was in competition for the rental unit,
Wow.
and had to offer a little bit more in rent in order to get the unit.
Wow.
And in addition to that, the lessor, the company, the landlord, is looking not only for first last, but they wanted first last in 6 months up
Up
front.
front.
So even on the rental side, it's becoming a challenge. And
Mhm.
so it's a major issue. It's a major issue that has to be addressed.
Absolutely.
I was talking to someone today, and they were asking, well, is there something the county can do with putting in place rental caps
Mm.
and capping rents?
Almost how you see it in up north, New York, how they would do those and the ceilings, rent
Right,
ceilings and
right,
things.
right.
Mhm.
And the county, there is a cap on, for instance, property taxes, and so
Mhm.
our property
Mhm.
taxes can increase more than 3%. Unfortunately, there isn't anything the county can do legally. The state legislature, there are laws in place that would prohibit us as a county and any of the counties in the state of Florida from doing that. But that is something the legislature can consider, and there are some. I've seen a couple Senate bills where they're looking at that.
Mhm.
I don't know if they will get the traction that they need, because, again, you're talking about South Florida.
Yes.
You're talking about, maybe Hillsborough, Duval, Orange County.
Yes.
And so of those few counties, and Monroe, so of these, 7 or 8 counties, we're 7 or 8 counties out of about 67 counties. And so not everyone is having the issue that we're having. And so I don't know from the state legislature's perspective if any sort of rental caps would ever move forward,
Benefit.
because
Yeah.
we're still in a capitalistic
We
society.
are. We
So
are. Absolutely. And I think just people, just like you said about, our sellers, our landlords, they have to know that, the more you drive, people are not able to obtain affordable housing. They're going to move outside of the city, outside of the county. I mean, you're seeing it now, like droves of people who are going to St. Lucie County
mhm.
because of just the difference in home prices. And so what's happening is, that economic stimulus of dollars is leaving Palm Beach County.
It is.
And it's really sad because we want to make sure that we're still thriving, and we don't want to just thrive off of the tourist dollars that come in.
Correct.
We want to make sure that that those that are born and raised here and have generations behind them that have come up and, are hoping to have generations after them be here and and have memories stay here and
Absolutely.
live, work, and play.
Absolutely. And
Yeah,
and there's no better place to live than in Palm Beach County. We're in paradise. This is
absolutely.
the best of everything.
So, Mr. Brown, before we end, I want to definitely take time to talk about what you are a part of after you take off your director's hat. You spoke about being a pastor at Word of Faith Christian Ministries, but
Yes.
even outside of that, you have taken your passion for housing, your passion for people, and you've translated that even into a nonprofit organization. And you mentioned about partnership before in that regard. Can you speak a little bit about that,
Yeah.
about your nonprofit,
Yes.
and
Yes.
what you all do, and what are some of the goals of the nonprofit?
So when I left Palm Beach County to go work for the city of Fort Lauderdale, I was able to start a nonprofit organization, Word of Faith Community Development Corporation, and that corporation or that CDC's primary mission and goal is to create affordable housing
Hmm.
opportunities for individuals. And so what we've done is we've gone out and we have purchased some single family homes,
Okay.
and we have renovated those homes, and we've made those homes available for low to moderate income
Hmm.
families.
Hmm.
And so we've done that. We've been doing that for I want to say since around 2009, roughly around that time.
Hmm.
And the Community Development Corporation has been pretty successful. When I came back to the county, I had to resign,
Hmm.
and so I'm no
Hmm.
longer
Hmm.
affiliated with that nonprofit. And for you all that are wondering, why did you
Yes.
do that?
Hmm.
Is because when I left the county, I was able to write a grant to the county to secure dollars to do it, and my department oversees that program.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I'm no longer
Correct.
connected to the organization,
Hmm.
but my wife is, and the organization is continuing to thrive and to do some great things and creating affordable housing. And we're just one of a number of community development corporations and nonprofit housing providers that's doing it. But it is a space that we're working in that is critical in this current economy.
And what I love about it too is that not just only providing affordable housing, but also educating people and even
Yes.
preparing them to for home ownership.
Yes, yes. Home buyer education programs, budget classes, credit classes. The nonprofit still takes part in that, partners with others and take part in that. And then from the county's perspective, if you want us in your organization, or you're with a group of people that want to understand better what opportunities are out there, talk to us. We're willing to come out, whether it's in person, whether it's a Zoom or any other virtual platform that you use, and talk about it. But that's the key now, is to really talk about what's out there, talk about what we can do. Oftentimes, we may not be the source, we may be the resource.
Hmm.
We know other organizations and other opportunities out there for you.
Hmm.
So talk to us and let us share with you what you can do. Because really, here in Palm Beach County, we have the best of everything, and the possibilities are endless.
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't know about you, but Mr. Brown, you really made me feel very proud to be a resident of Palm Beach County. Just to know all of the activities, all of the resources, all of the programs, and I know that we only scratched the surface of
Yes.
what is available to residents. And so, I just feel really great, and really I feel very informed. So listen, everyone, you heard about it. Whether you are a future homeowner, whether you need down payment assistance, purchase assistance, first mortgage, if you're already a homeowner, and for foreclosure prevention, mortgage assistance, if you need assistance with rehabilitation of a home, even if you're looking to purchase a home that may need rehab, there's funding there's programs that can help you to even do that as well. If you are unfortunately facing homelessness.
Mhm.
If you are transitioning from homelessness to a rental, you're looking to acquire rental. There is just so much. The list goes on and on. It is there. The information is on the website, palmbeachcounty.gov.
pbcgov.org, or if you go to Palm Beach County, Google Palm Beach County Board of County Commissioners, you'll get there.
Awesome. Awesome. That is great. Mr. Brown, I want to thank you so much for being a guest on Happily Ever Sold today. The wealth of knowledge that you have provided has been great. Do you have any last words that you want to share?
If I can just drop some more nuggets.
Absolutely. We love nuggets here.
So if you are a developer and you are interested in building affordable or workforce housing, or you are a developer, or maybe you're a landlord and you own some units, I expect that in March or April, my department will be issuing 1 or 2 RFPs, a federal RFP for about $1 million, and then a state RFP for about another $1 million. I spoke earlier about the CARES grant that was afforded to the county through President Trump's administration. Well, we also know that President Biden, through his administration, they have issued the American Rescue Plan.
Yes, yes.
And so the county commission has set aside $60 million to do some housing. We have, or in the process of putting out applications for individuals who live in the unincorporated areas who need their homes rehabilitated. And so you can go to, again, our website, whether you go on the pbcgov.org, discover Palm Beach County, you'll find us, Palm Beach County Board of County Commissioners, and you can go to Housing Economic Development. So we're using $60 million. We're doing the rehab program that I just mentioned, 3 other programs that I'm really excited about. What some people may not know is that we own a 22-unit subdivision in the city of Riviera Beach.
Really?
Nonprofit that started, some work, and they had acquired and pulled it together. And through the housing and economic crisis a little over a decade ago, weren't able to move that forward. So we have 22 vacant lots that we're going to be looking to build single-family homes on.
Oh, that's great.
And so that's going to be part of our dollars. And then the other program I'm really excited about is that the county owns lots that were escheated to us through taxes and other issues. And so one of the things that we're going to look to do on those is what we call an infill housing program.
Okay.
And you've seen it. Other cities and CRAs have done it. CRAs are community redevelopment agencies. They've done it. We have a twist on ours. So we're going to build new houses on those infill lots. And then we're going to work with our residents who are living in homes that are no longer habitable. And we're going to do an infill housing replacement program where we'll build a new house, and then we will sell or transfer. We will sell that home to an individual whose home is no longer habitable, and we will take their lot. We'll demolish their homes, and we'll start that process all over again.
Wow, that's awesome.
So we're trying to be a little innovative and creative with that, but that is what's coming over the next couple of years.
Oh, wow. That is very exciting. Because even when I looked, and I think you mentioned Mary's Place over in the Pleasant City area, some of the different townhomes that they've placed there, they're beautiful.
The West Palm Beach Housing Authority, or the Center of Housing with Palm Beach is their new name, has done a fabulous job. And we're just, again, excited that we were able to participate in their development. That's theirs, and we were able to help and participate.
That's awesome. I have one other question. Talking about land, you mentioned about how the county acquires land just through different avenues. Is there any programs for, let's say, residents, Palm Beach County residents that want to acquire maybe a piece of land through the county that may be available, and let's say they want to build a home there?
So great question. And I'm going to qualify by that saying that, there is a misnomer that we have a lot of land. And we don't. And so like the infill replacement housing program, we have 25 lots that are scattered. Most of them out in the Western County. And that's where we're going to start a program at. But here's the thing. When we do have land, sometimes they come with a house or a structure on there. Sometimes they don't. We typically will work with the nonprofit housing agency that is in that community, active in
Okay.
that community. And so we have donated a lot of those lots and properties to nonprofits that are active in those communities.
Okay.
I'm really excited about the last one I think we donated, or one of the last ones we donated. We donated to the Riviera Beach Community Development Corporation, and again, the house was not habitable. But what they did, the Riviera Beach CDC did, was they got the land, they demolished the house, and they built a solar powered home there.
Wow.
Fabulous home,
Wow.
fabulous opportunity. I don't even know if it's still for sale. When they did the grand opening and the walkthrough, it was crowded. So, our partners are doing some creative things
Mhm.
with it.
Mhm.
Typically, when we do have properties, they're going to go to the nonprofits.
Okay.
Lots that will go to the nonprofits. If the county has other larger parcels, because right now we're talking about single family parcels.
Yes.
If
Yes.
they're larger parcels, our property and real estate division in the county has a process of disposing of them where interested individuals or developers can bid on those lots
Okay.
when they come out. For the most part, it's not necessarily single family related
Mhm.
lots,
Mhm.
but there are some lots that'll come out through our surplus process.
All right. All right. So it's out there.
It's out there.
But what I do know is that you all are using it to make our community better,
Yes, yes.
and that's what's important. That's
Yes.
what's
And,
important.
and it's not just us. I mean, you check with your cities. Other cities may have more lots. You'll probably find more available lots within our cities.
Mhm.
But, you look around if that's something you're interested in. And let's say you are able to identify a lot here in the county and you want to build on that lot. We also have, in addition to our first mortgage program, we have a construction program that would help
Mm.
you as an individual build on that lot if you are interested.
And that is where you could get into a new construction home.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow. So the resources are endless, and there's different options. So whatever area you're starting from, there's something potentially out there to meet where you
Absolutely.
are.
Absolutely.
That's great.
Absolutely. And
That's
so
great.
again, thank you for having me. Again, our department is touching a lot of different things. And I encourage you all to check out our department, look at some of the offerings we have. You can reach us easily at 561-233-3600.
Awesome. I hope you took that number down. And even if you have to rewind and go back, get the information. Start somewhere. Start now. You don't have to wait. Maybe before wasn't the right time, but start now. Mr. Brown said, take a look at your credit, build your credit, pay down those debts, start getting yourself in position because your preparation will become your reality. Mr. Brown, thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure. And that is another episode of Happily Ever Sold. And we will see you next time.